Here we are.
Okay.
If you need a place to watch the fireworks, our church parking lot has a perfect angle for you to watch those. We'll have free hot dogs, homemade ice cream, all that stuff Wednesday night starting at 6. Keyword being free. So come on out and enjoy a good place to watch the fireworks.
And Tim asked me to make an announcement that we pick up the flags after this coming weekend, so next Monday.
Parking is going to be different. There's no parking where the construction's going on. So you can park on the street back there, but the school district, you remember the 2-story house that used to be a funeral home across from the visitor side? We own that lot, and then there's another lot just north of it, south of the Clyde, I guess it's actually east of it. West of the Clyde's house, we own that lot. You can go through that lot back to the tennis courts, and there's an area behind the Career Tech building that are adjacent to the tennis courts. So all that's owned by the school district. The first lot on Buffalo past Bradford is on the left. That's owned by the school district. So y'all can park anywhere in there. We're not going to fix flat tires.
It sounds like the Church of Christ might be a great place to park.
Keyword free.
Yeah, keyword free. So I'm going to turn it over to Randy, and he's going to tell us about the fireworks show.
All right, thank you, Carolyn. Sherry asked me to speak today. I was kind of speaking to her one day after Rotary about a little bit about how the fireworks show got started and how it came to where we put this thing together each year. And to give you a little history of where we started at, it's the East Texas Yamboree Fireworks Show. It's not the Guards and Young, they just sponsored it. It's the East Texas Yamboree Association that puts this thing on. And how we got started on it was back in 2002, I believe. It's been 14 years back. We had a group of kids out of Gilmer College. It was a group that they were advocates of alcohol and tobacco use. And the problem that they seen with the kids didn't have anything to do was stuff during the summer. And so they came up with a list of different things that they was asking different people in different towns to do to sponsor stuff during the summer for the kids to do. One of them was the fireworks. So they came to the Yamboree Association and asked if we would sponsor something. And so we agreed to sponsor a fireworks show. And so we got with Joe Lamb, who was doing that kind of work back then, and we put on a show. And after the show was over with, at our next board meeting, we were discussing about how it went down. And everybody was talking about how great it was, but the one thing that they discovered was that it brought everybody together. It was bringing families together, friends together, neighbors was coming over to neighbors' house, and it was just good for the community. I mean, it was just something that worked out great. And so the board voted whether to do it again. And I won't forget this, but Matt Kemp made the motion to permanently do it from now on, and they asked me if I would do it again, and I told them as long as they would let me, I would keep doing it. So basically, that's how we got started. Now, it's become to where it's a Dr. Phill and Roadkill Hill production show. And we kind of come up with that, and how that got started was we was talking about maybe continuing, you know, and the Folklife Festival, and it was going to be the Dr. Phill and Roadkill Hill thing, kind of like what Spot Bear used to do with what was that called? Possumologist. Possumologist, yeah. And so we decided not to do that anymore. So the fireworks show, it just fit right in. It was the Dr. Phill Roadkill Hill production. So now we got started doing that. But what it takes to put this thing on now, it's got to be a big deal. I didn't realize how big a deal it was until, and I tell everybody, we can judge how many people have been there after the show's over with how long you see taillights. I mean, that gives you a pretty good idea of how many people come. I had got word this morning that there's some people going to show up from Houston to their friend. They called their friend and said, why don't y'all come up and watch us? You know, they live in Houston. They're coming. Last year, we had some people from England that showed up. So it's got to be kind of a big deal. But how we produce this thing is we do a 20-minute show. You ask why just 20 minutes? There was a study done several years ago by these pyrotechnic people. What they came to the conclusion of is if you do a show over 20 minutes, people start losing attention span at it. They get kind of bored. So we just stop it at 20 minutes. Then one of the things that some people, I've heard one, I believe it was Steve Dean was telling me one time that they had some people come up from Jefferson and they put on a fireworks show with Jefferson, and they said the difference between that fireworks show and ours is because we add the music to it. And so we always use music that's patriotic. I mean, and when we use music, we use every kind of little different types of music that people like. If you'll notice tomorrow night, it's pretty mixed up this year. We had been using a company to do our sound production out of Washington, D.C., which was XM Radio. And the guy that worked for XM Radio, we had it all lined out, fixing to go with it. He called me 2 weeks ago on a Saturday. I could barely understand anything the man was saying. He's had a stroke. The only thing I understood was, I'm dead in the water. So, what are we going to do? Luckily, they always say, look in your backyard. You may have something that'll work. And this year, we was fortunate enough to get a hold of Tony McCullough. Tony McCullough used to work for KYKX Radio. He is now the marketing manager for Upshur Electric. And anytime you watch an Upshur Electric co-op commercial, that's him doing the commercial, doing it. So we got with him, and after about 6 cuts, this morning we got through with our last cut of music. So what we're going to do this year is, and you will notice it, that our music this year is going to start out with 1940s music. And what that is, that's because this is the 75th anniversary of D-Day. So we're going to have 1940s music in there. Then we're going to go about 55 minutes, I believe, with that kind of music. And then Steve Dean and the Flying Phoenix Museum are going to do our air show, which to me, that is the icing on the cake right there. Everybody loves the air show. It works out beautifully. Steve has done a great job of putting it together and also of narrating it. It just works out great, and everybody loves it. Everybody compliments him how great the air show was. So, and then after that, his show lasts 15 minutes. Then at 8:45, we will pick up with music again, and what this is going to be was music from 1969. You say, well, what's so special about 1969? Well, 1969 was the year we landed on the moon. So it's the 50th anniversary of landing on the moon. So we're going to play that type of music. Then that goes on, and then at 9 o'clock, we'll stop that portion of it. We'll have 15 minutes where we're going to present the girls, introduce them, and then also we're going to do the raffle that on the tickets that the girls have sold. That's going to last hopefully 15 minutes. And then 9:15 is when we start the fireworks show. Now, I hope we don't go any further over 15 minutes because our firework contractor gets really itchy about that. He wants to start right on time because that's what his permit says. He starts at 9:15. So, and then it'll be a 20-minute show. And now y'all will really love it because this year, as the program is going on, we're going to put history back into that music. So you'll be noticing a lot of that stuff. And I believe it's 99.1 we're going to be broadcasting it on, so make sure you get your radios out, tune it to that. But one of the things I told Sherry that we do, that people don't know that we do, you say, well, how does a firework contractor know he's cute? Well, you're listening to 99.1, but we're sending out another frequency, which I will not tell you. And it's telling that firework contractor every shot that he makes to the music. So he's listening to everything that's going on. And then it's telling him when to shoot it, because it's all timed out. And so, Dr. Phill, he's been helping me a long time with it. You got anything you want to add to it?
I think a lot of people miss out on the broadcast on the radio signal that's being put out, because that is a big part of the show. And I asked people, have you ever listened to it on the radio? No, we've never heard the music. Now, these are people that are parking away from the area. If you're in the stadium or in the VIP parking area, then you'll hear the music. But be sure that you turn it on your radios, because it really enhances the show. And that starts about, what time, Randy?
7:30 when we start. The gates open at 7:30, we're starting music at 7:30.
Starting music at 7:30, so from then on, as you're setting up in your areas, having it going on the radio really does make it nice.
Yeah, John?
Does 99.1 broadcast over the internet?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you did that,
No.
people could have their.
If I knew somebody could do it, let them do it. And then you asked why I'm dressed like that. I've already started getting ready for it this morning. Our big flag that we put behind the stage, we've been putting it together. Last year it failed because the wind got set, but it's not gonna happen this year. We done got that solved. And then I've got the other things. So it takes me about 2 days to get ready for it, after we do all our sound production. But usually people ask me, when do you start? And I said, well, usually in January is when I start kind of lining up how I want to get it lined out and when I want, what kind of music I want to use. And usually after about 5 or 6 takes of music, we come up with the show. So, any other questions?
Randy, I would say one thing, we work on the air show part. We never stop working on that. And also we have a anonymous donor that sponsors the air show. It's separate from the sponsors of the fireworks, but it's an anonymous donor, and they go through the music. So we appreciate that. Our 2 pilots, Carl Best will be leading this year. He's an insurance agent in Dallas. The wingman is Steve Atman, and he's the chief pilot for Kimberly Clark. And he's in Russia right now, but he'll be here tomorrow for the air show.
All right. I'm anxious. Okay, and I tell everybody this, what do you do after the show's over with? I say, I go jump in the swimming pool. All right, Carolyn, that's all I got. If anybody else got any further questions, I'll turn it back over to you.